Hamburg, a major port city in northern Germany, is connected to the North Sea by the Elbe River. It's crossed by hundreds of canals, and also contains large areas of parkland. Hamburg, Germany. We went to Hamburg to visit the one of the great fancier, the father and son tandem, Roland and Denis Faber. And it must be said, thanks in part to the heartwarming hospitality of the entire Faber family, our visit turned into a fantastic experience. They already achieved several top rankings in the Gouden Duif competition. In 2013 they finished with 4 entries as second successor. A year later they became Superstar of the Month in May Middle Distance and first successor Gouden Duif. In 2015 they became second Superstar of the Year Middle Distance, 3 entries, and now, in 2016, they crown the work as Gouden Duif winner Germany and Superstar of the Year Middle Distance. An unparalleled performance at the end of a dream season. The Fabers, who are part of this combination, on paper are father Roland and son Denis. Both very sympathetic sports friends, with son Denis usually speaking. Roland works in shifts. Denis studies psychology, which might help to motivate the Pigeons. Were it not for the ladies who are involved in the care and who actually also belong to the combination, there would be little time available for the care. For example, Mother Mariola regularly helps out in the lofts, while daughter and sister Madeleine jump in when the need arises, such as when the men are at a champions celebration, for example. You also don't want to know how often Mother Mariola cleans the lofts. And then there's Lee, Denis's girlfriend, who also does her bit in case of emergency, which love can't do. It can, therefore, be said that a well-oiled, well-attuned team is responsible for the care of the Pigeons, whereby I had the impression that Denis more and more outlines the policy. In any case, pigeon sport is a real family sport at the Fabers. The loft installation. The Fabers' house was built in 1986. There is no room for large lofts in the garden. Everything is limited to a relatively small loft installation on which quite a lot of pigeons are housed. Good ventilation is therefore of great importance. I was really surprised at the ratio between the available space and the number of pigeons. There is room for 40 breeding couples and 10 feeding couples. They have 3 racing lofts and they race both classic widowhood with cocks and total widowhood with another part of the racing team. Furthermore, they also race with some hens whose partners stay at home. Finally, there is the loft for the youngsters. The occupancy rate cannot be compared with that in normal lofts. So there are many more pigeons per loft than loft construction experts advise. But the lofts here in Hamburg are, or rather, perfectly ventilated. A channel, not a closed tube, runs through the racing lofts through which the used air is sucked out. A well-thought-out system. Heating plates were installed above this, which provide some heat and dryness and which are also conducive to the discharge of the air. All in all, a good loft climate is created in this way. The Pigeons. I got my hands on a somewhat different type of pigeons than with many other championship lofts. A bit stronger built and with a bit more volume. Not that they are too fat or too heavy, certainly not, because size and weight are completely in balance. I really liked them and reminded me of my own pigeons from 45 to 50 years ago. A bit more robust than today. A few years ago, people also took part at longer distances. At that time, there were still several flights of 600, 700 and 800 kilometers on the program. What do we still know in Germany today? A sprint program and some short middle distance. Flights of 600 kilometers are currently an exception. I recently came across this kind of more robust pigeons with helmet and Alphonsklasse in Rietberg. And they are known for their class pigeons for one-loft races. That aside, to say again, I really like the pigeons from Roland and Denis and they are undoubtedly the basis of their great successes. I am also sure that someone like Pied de Weird would have been impressed. We will not dwell too much on the pedigree of their pigeons, with a few exceptions, because the Fabers respect the principle that only the very best may remain. We will take a closer look at 3 pigeons, namely Tyson, and the 2 Olympiads Mariola and Madeleine. If I had to describe more I would have trouble making choices from so much class material. Tyson. The eye-catcher of the loft is Tyson. He owes his name to his fighter mentality. This variegated cock was first ace cock in the club and in the association and first all-round cock in the Region 150 in 2010. He won first from Pacewalk, 256 kilometers, against 1,887 pigeons, second from Stargard, 325 kilometers, against 3,816 pigeons, sixth from Woodstock, 162 kilometers, against 4,288 pigeons, eighth from Miniko, 509 kilometers, against 4, P754 pigeons and AO. 10th from Skep, 622 kilometers, against 1,779 pigeons. He then moved to the breeding loft, where he produces excellent offspring. His father is the Bond Argentine B6-615-4660 of Flor Engels and Zanen. This cock goes back completely to Den 178. He is the grandfather on both father's and mother's side, and as is known, this cock had the world-famous 231 as father. The mother of the Tyson is the stock Hun 1906-05-557. She comes from a cock from G. Kramer and the hen 2496-99-896 from Frank Kalk. This came from the B94-600-852-77 a cock from Willy van Berendonk and the B96-641-4039 a hen from Simon Wins. Ranking National Championships 6th National Champion. 19th National Champion Yearlings, 11th, 27th, 36th, 54th National Ace Hen the Olympiad Pigeons Mariola and Madlein. In the sport class at the Olympiad in Brussels, the Faber family was even represented with 2 hens. Lady power of the highest class, and they have therefore come up with appealing names: OLYMPIC MARIOLA, 0901-14-213, who showed off in the Class D, all-round, and OLYMPIC MADLEN, 0901-15-857, who Germany represented in the Class G, yearlings. Naturally, both hens performed exceptionally. OLYMPIC MARIOLA was 6th ace pigeon youngsters in the club in 2014. A year later, in 2015, she became first ace pigeon de club and second ace pigeon in the HDI championship for yearlings. In 2016, she finished as 4th ace hen in the club. Mariola comes out of the 8901-12-0327, a brother of the Tyson 35 with the 0901-10-0114. And the 114 again has Belgian parents, namely the B7-604-8570 of John and Jan Beck, grandson of the famous Highlander, cross the B7-314-1622 of Antoon and Hild Reinert. Mariola is a beauty in the hand, and this blue-pied hen has more than earned her place in the breeding loft. OLYMPIC MADLEN. We come to the second Olympiad pigeon of the Faber family, and that is OLYMPIC MADLEN. A young hen with excellent performances, first Stargard, 328 kilometers, 531 pigeons. Second Pilla 447 km, 343 pigeons. Fourth in Reg V 2719 pigeons. Third Parkim, 119 kilometers, 1312 pigeons. Sixth in the RV 2544 pigeons. Third Pilla, 447 kilometers, 513 pigeons. Eighth in Reg V 4456 pigeons. Third New Brandenburg, 208 kilometers, 385 pigeons. Sixth Reg V 2964 pigeons. Eighth New Brandenburg, 208 kilometers, 1220 pigeons. Ninth Pilla, 447 kilometers, 805 pigeons. OLYMPIC MADLEN comes out the nation as 655, 0901-09-0655, which again comes from the stock Hun 1906-05-0557 of Willy Schluter. The mother of Madlein is the Ivana of the Gebroders Herbots, who comes out of the famous even B7-210-3401 cross the B9-516-3287, daughter of the Attila B3-210-1321, who was national ace pigeon in 2003. Not bad for this pedigree. Incidentally, the Ivan became first national ace pigeon middle distance at Dino Herbots. It should also be mentioned that this one came from a son of the world-famous Bliksem van Vandenabel. Also, OLYMPIC Madlen is a very beautiful hen. Does she also move to the breeding loft? 2020, we didn't make any changes in 2020, but I believe that later mating would have been more productive for our females. An additional check by a veterinarian would not have hurt either. Successes 2020. By far the best flight was on July 12, 2020 from Pila 447 kilometers. Here we achieved 41 prices with 49 pigeons seated. We start with the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 7th, 9th, 19th, 29th and more. We particularly liked this flight because it was a flight that could not have been imagined better. The first pigeons arrived at a flight speed of 1,192 meters per minute. Pigeon weather, headwind and then such a nice result in the long measurement, just great. Pigeons care. The most important product for us this year was without a doubt Rotozil. It was indispensable for faster regeneration, especially after heavy flights. Also a great product during a hot spell to prepare for the next flight. We'll definitely be doing more checkups at the veterinary next year. Vaccinations. In the summer, we used a combination vaccine against paramyxo, herpes and adeno for the first time in the youngsters. We also vaccinated against smallpox and salmonella. In autumn, we treated the entire population again with the Calvac RP combination vaccine against paramyxo and the rotavirus. We liked the entire vaccination concept so much that we will keep it for the next year. Young animal flights. Our RV and we ourselves had a very good season for young animals. It was poor in losses and rich in smooth flights. For the coming year we have a very ambitious group of yearlings. The flag was a loyal companion for us to get the youngsters to fly. But we have also shown a lot of patience with our young troops. After we gradually increased the training, the young gang flew by itself for an hour or more. Roland and Denis are without a doubt among the very best in Germany. I am convinced that we will hear and read a lot more about them in the future. Thank you for watching. Until next time.